There we go. Joining us tonight on the Rattler vlog, we have got Megan Getz joining us right now. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Really good, really good. Let me just turn my volume up here. Whereabouts are you? It looks absolutely beautiful. I think we're actually both in town right now, are we?
I'm just out past Desert Bloom, actually.
Oh, okay. Sounds
Yeah,
good. Everyone, Megan Getz played, was it 2 or 3 years with the Rattlers?
three.
It was 3 years with the Rattlers. Um, let's jump right in. Your rookie season was the last year that the Rattlers wore home white as
Yep.
opposed to home yellow. What do you prefer,
Yep.
home white or home yellow?
I actually like the yellow.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good. See, I don't know. I'm kind of partial to the white. It's a little more traditional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. All right. So, how tough was it being, if memory serves me correctly, an Eagle Butte grad?
Yep.
How tough was it being an Eagle Butte grad, now being a part of the evil Mohawks and Quahamis empire, as opposed to your alma mater, so to speak? What is it like being over at Hat High these days?
Um, it's obviously a bigger school. The culture is completely different. I mean, each school has its own culture, but um, I played 3A basketball and now I'm coaching 4A with Hat High, and it's completely different. Like the energy, the teams, the caliber, it's a lot different. I sometimes think I wish I would have gone to Hat Eye, and I've told Boris this a few times just in conversation. It's just I'm highly competitive and I like big energy and things like that. So now being part of the coaching staff at Hat Eye, I'm like, damn, I like I wish I could have played in some of these
Yeah.
games against some of these teams. It would have been really cool. So
Well, just ask anybody that's been to a game over at Hat High, and I mean it almost has more of a college atmosphere than a lot of colleges have. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, you got a great student section there. Oftentimes that gym is packed. You've got fans on both sides. You got that big video board there. Like it is almost like a college vibe, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It actually reminds me a lot of playing at the college. Like, I remember playing games where the gym is completely packed. You have fans just like heckling the other team, and our student section kind of does that as well. I think our biggest crowd was just this year when we did the purple shirt night. We had to bring out extra
Yep.
bleachers, and it was just there was kids on the baseline when the other team was shooting free throws, like pretending to give birth, like NCAA college basketball, and it was pretty cool. I've got videos of it happening, pictures. It's pretty special.
Exactly. And so, help me out here. You're teaching the junior girls then at Hat High, or who are you
I
teaching
coach
or coaching?
the senior girls with Jeff Harold.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Yeah,
Good. Good.
yeah.
Good. Now, in addition to being a full time student athlete over at Hat High, which I mean, between your studies and between competing at a high level of basketball, I mean, those two things in itself would have taken up anyone else's like a full amount of time, but you somehow managed juggling being a mom at the same time throughout all of this. How difficult was that, being a high level student athlete between the studies, the athletics, and being a mom at the same time? How did you do it?
I definitely learned how to manage my time. Bria's dad and myself, we split time, so I really learned how to get a lot of work done in the week that she was at her dad's house, so that when she was with me, I could just focus on her and practice, and that's pretty much what my and going to class. But I had a lot of support. My parents were always really great. Whenever I had a late practice, she would be at their house, and they were at every game. When I had her, they would be watching her. So I had a lot of help. It was a lot of work, but it was totally worth it to have her be a part of that experience. It was really neat.
And she was like such a popular super fan as well, right? She was always decked out in the black and yellow, and sometimes she had her pom poms or her little cheerleading outfit on, and so on. Like, how distracting was it you playing the game, seeing that she was getting so much attention in the crowd at the same time? That must have been actually pretty funny from your vantage point.
Um, there was, I think, one game where I think she distracted me a little bit, but I think it was because she was upset and this is when fairly early on when she was pretty young.
Yeah.
She had a headache before the game and I usually bring her, to the gym with me. I was always there at 3, game was at 6. I had like a routine. I'd eat my Subway on the bench, just by myself. Bria would run around with the ball. And like I was doing my pregame thing and she was doing her thing and she said that she was getting a headache. So I had to call my mom and get her to bring some Tylenol to the gym so that I could give it to her. That was the one time I think I was just worried about her. But other than
Hmm.
that, like I was in the zone. I never really yeah. She was kind
So
of
you
there
never
and
you never had to yeah. So you never had to shoot that mom glare at her in the crowd to tell her to snap out of it or start behaving. You never had to do that.
oh no, never. No.
Uh,
No.
is she a future high school or college athlete? Are you kind of seeing that in her?
I hope so. She tried football this year. She's done soccer, and this year she kind of actually started getting into basketball and wanting to do drills. And so this season, I put up some cones for her, and she's been working on her ball handling and she's got a nice little shot for an 8-year-old, working on her form and things like that. So I hope so. She always kind of
That's
idolized
awesome.
the Rattlers, and I think she won.
I think we got a little disruption in the old Wi-Fi here. Just give me a sec. Yeah, I got a watery eye there. You still there? You good?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. All right. So I'm going to give you. I'm going to shoot off the names of a few of your former college teammates, and I want
Okay.
you to give me just a couple of words to come to mind when I say the name, whether it's what they were like as a player or maybe what they were like in the locker room or on the bus trips or whatever. Let's start off with Sheridan Popania.
Share. Um, oh man, Cher's a really hard worker, like willing to just learn anything. Like she always worked really hard. She was a lot of fun. We had
Okay.
some good laughs together, but I just liked how she was willing to just quietly work and never really had many complaints. She just kind of did her thing and she improved a ton over the course of the time I played with her, and I was really admired that.
Awesome. Kendall Kuntz.
Oh, Kendall, the one girl I wish I could have actually played with. I played
Oh, you
against
didn't play with
Kendall.
her? I'm sorry.
No, I
Okay.
did. Well, I did kind of. So I played against her at provincials. She was playing for Sate, and she hurt her knee in one of the games that we were actually watching. I can't remember who Sate was playing, but we had gone to watch, and she hurt her knee, her good knee. And then that following year, she was supposed to come play at the college, and she was told that she'd only sprained her knee. And then her and I were playing one on one in a drill, and her knee just kind of gave out on her. And that was the year, that would have been my last year playing. And she never actually got to play that year. She's still part of the team, and I got to see her every day. But that was the
Mhm.
one thing we always kind of said. We were like the Splash Sisters. Like, what do you do when you have 3 knockout 3-point shooters on the floor? Like, so that was kind of disappointing. I always wish that I could have actually saw the floor with her in a game, but yeah.
And we had her on the show earlier this week, and I think she said something to the effect of, in all of her college basketball games, she doesn't think that she was ever actually 100% for any of them. She always had
For
some kind of lingering injury that was going on for every
yeah.
game that she had to fight through. I couldn't even imagine what that must have been like.
Yeah, well, her and I can relate with that regard. Like I tore my ACL my very first year
Yep.
before the season even started. So, when we were playing one on one and I saw her go down, I was like, oh my God, no. I knew it wasn't good. So it's just
All
kind of
right, let's see what
crappy.
else we got here. Paige Cooper.
Paige, she has the best sense of humor, like the best. She's so sarcastic, and I could listen to her make jokes all day. She's another one that improved a ton over the time that I played with her. But I even just watching her after like I stopped playing, her confidence, like watching how where she started and where she is or where she was in her last game I watched is just like her level
Hmm.
of confidence has improved a ton. So, but yeah, her sense of humor by far, that's the one thing about Paige that, yeah, she's got a great sense of humor.
Kennedy Weary.
Yeah. So Kennedy was like my original, like, remember running into her in the gym, and she approached me, and like I didn't know anybody. I was like 24 when I came back to play, and I all these girls were like fairly young, and I didn't know anybody. And she came right up to me. I was shooting hoops in the gym, and she's like, "I hear you're gonna come out for the team." And I was like, "Yeah." And she's introduced herself, and we ended up playing one on one. And yeah, she's kind of the
Yep.
one that, yeah, from the first time I walked into the gym at the college, we hit it off right away, and we're still really close.
Awesome. Good. And one more. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure you played with Morgan Muir. Did you play with her?
Yeah, actually, like that's a
You
funny
did.
story. I knew Morgan when she was in grade 12. I used to coach for Rangers, and I went to Hawaii with them, and that's where I met Morgan. Actually, she from Australia entered this tournament and got put on a team, and then she ended up playing with I think they were called the Summit, Calgary Summit, or something like that. Um, but that's how I met her, and then she came to Medicine Hat and played for Crescent Heights in her grade 12 year. And then I actually told Jason, I was like, you need to sign her. She's so crafty, she's so good. So yeah, that's kind of how we ended up playing together. It was kind of neat.
Well, there you go. You can kind of take credit for her college career here then, to a certain degree, anyway.
A little, maybe, I don't know.
Yep. All right. So, teaching now. How many years now have you been teaching over at Hat High then?
This year I finished my second year.
Okay. And is teaching all that you thought it would be? Is it everything that you kind of hoped it would be? Maybe even more?
And more, yeah, and
Yeah.
more. I got super lucky. I said I didn't apply anywhere else. I kind of knew I wanted to be at High, and I ended up getting a job there my first year, and then I got hired back for my second year. And before I got hired for my again, I'll sub. I don't want to work anywhere else. I'll wait for something else to come up. I absolutely love it there. So this year I signed my continuous contract. So I'll be back there again next year, and hopefully forever and ever. It's awesome. The staff's
Good for
great.
you.
The
Good for
kids are
you.
good.
Because we had Katie Litwinuk on last week, and she is working in some really small town. I think it's like a
Frontier, I think.
yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I think it's like K to 12. I
Yep.
think right.
Yep.
So if push came to shove, would you have gone to small town Alberta? I mean, it sounds like you put all your eggs in that one basket. You're like,
I
I'm going for
did.
Hat High. This is what I want.
I
Yeah.
honestly, I wouldn't. With Bria's dad living here, that's part of the reason I never went to play anywhere else. Like I wanted to play in my hometown, but um, I did the elementary education program at Medicine Hat College because I didn't want to take Bria away from her home and her dad, and
Hmm.
uh, so
Okay. So we got a little Wi-Fi issue here going on, I think. So what is the most challenging part of teaching though? Is there anything? Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me here now. I just got a spinning wheel here. Okay. Yeah, it just keeps freezing up there. Well, I'm going to ask the question anyway. What is the most challenging part of teaching? Is there anything about the profession that actually has turned out to be a lot tougher than maybe you had envisioned?
most challenging part of teaching. I don't know. I would say just making sure that you're giving the kids what they need, making sure that they have all the resources they need, and you're trying to set them up for success. So um,
Hmm.
I'm pretty good at building relationships and figuring out what kids need, but that's the one thing that I always worry about. Am I doing enough, for the kids to get the best out of their education? So
Did you have a teacher in high school or even prior to middle school, elementary, that you look back on and they were just so good at their job, and you try to kind of fashion yourself to a degree after that style of teaching? Is that a thing?
um,
Because I mean,
yes.
I think in sports, you have players that you watch, and you're like, I gotta do it that way or whatever. Is it kind of like teaching as well, where you're influenced by someone that you've come across?
Well, I think part of the reason I wanted to become a teacher in the first place, like Rob Grisnich was always a huge mentor of mine, and we were close from the time I was in grade 5 until well, he coached me in college as well. So he coached me when I was little, and then again when I was an adult. So I've always admired him. He's an amazing teacher, an amazing coach, an amazing human being. And he was the guy that kind of inspired me to build relationships with kids and want to mentor kids. So, but teaching as a profession in itself, I mean, you're always, trying to learn and be better. And so that's what's great about the people that I work with is I can always ask somebody or, look for advice. And there's tons of great staff there that I can try and emulate. So,
Good, good, good. Um, as a Rattler, what were maybe a couple of the really memorable games that you look back on and you just like, you replay that game in your mind as your eyes are shut and you're trying to sleep at night? Is there any games that just stand out for you that just you'll never forget?
there's a couple. There was one home game that was just the energy was stupid. Like I remember just getting so hyped and heated that like I don't know. It was just there was fans like walking out onto the like floor at points, and it was just like I was in a zone, and it was awesome. I like big crowds, and I feed off that energy, so that
Yep.
was pretty cool. I'm pretty sure we were playing Sate that game, and then the other one would have been an away game in Red Deer. I think I had like 30 points that game, and I couldn't miss. Like it was stupid. I just like I it was strange. One of those games that you just everything goes in for you, and it was I was riding a high, and I just said, "Get me the ball, and I'm gonna put it in." So that was probably best game of my career, I'd say, one of them.
Yeah. Have you ever nailed a buzzer beater? Have you ever been in that spot? Clock winding
Um,
down, throw it,
yeah,
buzzer goes, swish. Has that ever happened to you?
um, yeah. Actually, honestly, there's one I remember hitting a three and getting fouled at the to start half at provincials. That was in Lethbridge against Nate. But honestly, the one that I remember the most was I think Kennedy hit like a buzzer beater three. I don't even think I was playing with her. I think I was watching it online.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's one buzzer beater that I don't know why. And she's commenting, yes.
Kennedy's like, of course I nailed that shot.
Like I was just like, yes, I love the balls. That's so awesome. She doesn't shoot a ton of threes, but like she let her fly, and I was like so hyped for her. Like I was
Yep.
just so excited. So
That's you
yeah.
know what the especially the last 2 years, but I think all of them. Those women's teams in that era. It seemed like you were all great friends. You had such team chemistry. You all had each other's back. Like if there was ever any locker room issues, you'd never tell by watching the girls on the court. Ever, you'd never tell.
Yeah, I don't ever remember there ever being any like sort of drama or anything like that. Like I remember not this year but the year before with alumni, it was that group that was really tight knit, and like I think we ended up beating the Rattlers team by like 20 points, but it was just that like there was no like we all just played together and we just had fun, and it was the chemistry was there, and that's something that I miss a lot is just like going out with those girls and having fun because you do it's like a family, you build those relationships,
Hmm.
and it's kind of funny like my very first year Sierra Matsella and Ali Dooley and Courtney Rose Deba, I coached them when I was like 19 just at a in college, and then I ended up playing with them when they were like 20 something when I was 24. So it's weird. Like basketball is
Hmm.
something that you build bonds with that you'll just kind of never let go of. So yeah,
But Megan, all good teams have down points in the season, right? Where things aren't going well, and somehow you need to pull it together. Who was that player in the locker room that managed to call a team meeting and just gave the best motivational teammate speeches? Or was that you?
well, I was a lot older than the girls that I played with. So yeah, I definitely had a leadership element for sure. If things were starting to fall apart, and that a lot of times I was the person who would say, okay, let's stick together, let's keep our heads in this. Let's I even remember in high school everyone would call me the mum player because like I just kept everyone calm for whatever reason. Like it just, if you can be that yourself, other people start to kind of to jump on board with that. So it didn't happen a ton. I think we were, at least the years I played, pretty good at keeping our cool and staying in it and working hard. But yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like your playing days really helped you become a better teacher these days? Is that something? Is it like? Do you find yourself kind of learning, from lessons that you learned back then to applying them to your career now?
I would say the time management, being a mom and playing a college sport and being a full-time student, that the whole time management thing is now being a coach and to lesson plan and mark and all those things and be a parent. So that is something that I think helped me immensely moving into teaching and showing perseverance and having thick skin and all those things, taking constructive criticism and then being able to, I'm a feedback person. I want you to tell me like what I can fix, how I can do it, and then I'm going to go do it. So that skill of being able to take constructive criticism and feedback definitely helps with teaching because you're constantly evolving, you're trying to improve. So I think
Hmm.
that's something else I really like about teaching. No 2 days are the same, and you're kind of having to work on the fly and adapt and get better every day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of students over the past 3 months have had a tough time. I know I'm a hat high dad, and I know that my son. I mean, he's never been the most studious student at all, but a couple of weeks ago he had a little bit of a breakdown, and he said, "Dad, I will never, ever complain about school again." He's
Yeah.
he's just. I think it's all been such a big eye opener for him. What has it been like over the past couple of months as a teacher? I know that your heart probably breaks for a lot of the students, especially the grade 12s, who basically missed all the stuff that made our grad year so incredible, right? How do you feel just about the past couple of months and just how you feel for your students?
Um, it's, I know for some kids, some of my students in particular, really enjoyed online learning. Like they were able to sleep in and do their work, and some of them managed really well. And then I know a lot of others really need that face-to-face interaction with their teachers. They need to sit down and see it, and it's hard to stay motivated when you don't actually have to be in the building. So um, even for myself, like I miss the kids. I miss the connection and the relationships. That's something that's super important to me. So I struggle